Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overloaded. Bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go.
Welcome to another Shot Podcast, where our opinions might be real, or it could just be the liquor talking. Sit back and enjoy another shot.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Shots Wednesday night open bar. Unfortunately, yours truly has to fly solo tonight because Miss Kitty Cat, you all know her as Lady Jesus, the voice behind the camera, who cannot make it tonight due to a severe case of sickness. Which, I mean, it's been going around, so sooner or later you knew it was bound to get to her. That poor lady, she does so much running as it is. It's amazing that she's not more sick than what she normally is. But here's to Miss Kitty Cat, quick recovery. And look at that. They always say if you finish off a bottle, that shot's free. Lang. But this is our Wednesday night open bar, our open chat. We invite everybody to come in and have a good, solid conversation. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and drop this link right now, get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and paste and boom. So all you guys out there that want to check us out and you got something on your mind, hey, the bar is always open. Feel free at any point too. You can message us if you got something you want to talk about, you got a topic of conversation, anything. You know, you had a shit day at work. I don't care. You know, I'm not a licensed therapist. But at the end of the day, I can get, I got a good ear and I'll give you my opinion to the best of my ability. I mean, there's no other way to say it than that. I'm in a weird mood tonight. I'm not going to lie. I am, normally you guys see me with the whiskey, the bourbon, something along those lines. I brought it up at Monday night whenever my boy Hooper was here and I thought, man, this is a good night for a rum and coke. So we're going to bust out the Bacardi. Let's get I'm not a heathen. Super late jump tonight, obviously. I got home, had to do the 3 S's as usual, get myself all cleaned up. Put a little food in my belly, and I couldn't help myself. I sat down and started to watch a movie with the little one, thinking, okay, I was going to have time. And then I've run into this problem before, and this is one of the reasons why I like to stay up so late. I always end up wanting to, you get into a movie, you start watching TV, and then next thing you know, it just kind of falls into place. You can't stop, or okay, I just want to see what else is on. Oh wait, that looks good. Let's see. Does it have a preview? Oh, okay, cool. And then next thing you know, hey, I'm gonna be in bed by 11 at the latest, and you look at the clock, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, and you go, holy shit, that alarm's gonna be going off in 4.5 hours. The fuck do you guys do? Honestly, they know when I'm tired at work because the first thing I do is I run to the front, I get a coffee, which is an everyday thing. But that coffee is a lot of times chased with a Red Bull, or, I've been trying to eat and drink a little bit healthier. So as of late, have been, uh, I get up in the morning, at my age, I keep telling myself I want to get back into shape. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to start sleeping better. I'm going to start, you get all these goals, and then you find reasons to not go through with it, which is a good topic of subject tonight. So one of the ways I've been trying to get started on that goal is, I used to be a huge fan of like vinegar water. You do 1 tablespoon of vinegar water, or 1 tablespoon, I'm sorry, of apple cider vinegar, put it into 8 to 16 ounces of water, chug that bad boy down. And I tell you what, you'd be surprised, guys. I mean, even if it works great if you're hungover. It's not exactly a miracle elixir, but there's a lot of health benefits to it. And like anything healthy, you can't do too much of it, because everything you do has side effects. Everything you do has repercussions. Everything you do has, you know, something that kind of counteracts what you're trying to do. Um, but one thing is, it helps regulate, not only does it help, kind of flush your system a little bit, um, it kind of helps regulate the acidity of your stomach. It helps regulate sugar. So usually within like 5 minutes, 10 minutes after I've drank it, I start to immediately feel it. And, I'm a little more energized in the morning. I'm now granted, when you first get into that sort of regimen, you're going to find out that you're going to be running back and forth to the bathroom at least 4 or 5 different times, because one of the things it does, it goes right through the kidneys, flushes everything out, and you're going to piss like crazy. And then for me, who is a devout coffee drinker in the morning, you mix that with coffee and you almost want to double how many times you're running to the bathroom. But that's just one of the things I do. I also used to be real big, and Sarah constantly, Sarah being the wife, she loves to get me spinach, because she knows at some point I'm going to go off on a kick, and, I'm going to eat healthy. So as we all know, anything dark green is extremely healthy for you. And spinach is full of iron. So it helps build muscle. It helps, there's a lot of health benefits to it. I don't have my phone on me. I had to use my hotspot tonight because the internet was already starting to act up. So I can't exactly do a fact check on that, but I'll tell you right now, like I said, those two things, one of the healthiest things I used to do was I'd always pre-make it the night before. And I'd chop up spinach, chicken, throw just a little bit of cheese on it to give it that little flavor, give it a little bit of sea salt, 2 egg whites, and 1 whole egg. Mix that all together, and in the morning, get up, and that's the first thing you eat. We're talking a protein-packed, vitamin-packed. It sets the tone for your day. For easily, there was a good while where I had a hell of a discipline where I was getting up. I'd go to bed early. I was going to bed usually about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then I'd get up, eat some breakfast, go to work. But before I, this is back when I was working a mid shift. So I would do it either before or after. And we had a treadmill. I'd get on that treadmill. It'd start off, I'm just going to walk. Walking turned into jogging. And it was always a mile. And then after so long, I noticed something. Like I was starting to feel, man, I can do this. And at the time, I was a smoker. So I would get on there, and 1 mile turned into 2 miles, 2 miles turned into 3 miles. And then I started counting the calories, and I started challenging myself. And I'm like, man, if I can just burn this many calories, and then I'd get off the treadmill, I'd stretch, I'd do some crunches, I'd do some leg raises, I'd do push-ups, a few more stretches. Even my wife was getting involved. She would, she'd get on the treadmill herself, and she even admitted she was feeling better. And then I had to go a step further. I'm like, okay, I am dropping the weight, because at the time I was like, I want to get down to 190 again. And at the time I was only at 220. So I thought, I'm going to get on here. I'm going to, bust my ass. Not only that, I would wear sweatpants, shorts. I put sweatpants over top of that. Actually, let me reverse that. I put the sweatpants on, shorts over top of that, and then I put running pants on over top of that. Then I had a muscle shirt on, t-shirt, sweatshirt, hood up. Off I'd go. It got to the point where I could actually sprint, full sprint. Of course, again, on the treadmill, I'd be at a full sprint, and I could do what would be the equivalent of an entire lap around a track. And it just, I kept, the challenge got better and better. And then I'm like, okay, so what if I was counting calories. I was trying to figure out, what could I do, make sure, what's my fat intake, I was eating, I made sure to snack at least once every 8 hours. And we're not talking about like Little Debbie's and cookies and crackers and stuff like that. No, we're talking, okay, I'm going to eat an apple. Okay, I'm going to eat some fruit, or, fruit cup. Took some cottage cheese with me. I'd have a couple bags of peanuts with me. There was always something. I made sure to keep something in my stomach at all times. So it took away that urge to snack. I didn't want to get up in the middle of the night and, raid the peanut butter jar. I don't know if you guys do that. I'm notorious for it. I'll be asleep 2, maybe 3 hours. Boom, I'm up. And I don't know why. The first thing I want to do is I run right to the peanut butter jar, and it's just a giant tablespoon. And man, but again, I had that discipline, and I did this every day. And it would drive me nuts when I would go out and eat. If I broke diet just a little bit, and then, I was religiously watching my, marking my weight down. I was following my, and believe it or not, guys, I did hit my goal. I'll never forget the day, got on the treadmill. I knew I was at like 201, 200, somewhere along those lines. Man, the clothes were fitting good. I was sleeping like a champ. Had energy for days. And there was one day in particular, and I posted it and had all sorts of fun with it. And I got off the treadmill, finished my workout routine, went outside, changed out of the clothes. The first thing I did before I got in the shower was I weighed myself, and I'll never forget, it was 198.7. I'd hit my goal. I was happy. So I thought, okay, where do I go from here? So I stayed on the treadmill for a little while, and I slacked off a little bit. I didn't, jump right into the sweets and all that other stuff, but I was watching it. I was regulating it. I wasn't being as stringent. And then something weird happened, folks. I went to the doctor, had my yearly physical. They drew the blood. Sugar was good. Everything was good, but they found an abnormality with my kidneys. Like they were straining, they were having problems, and they were trying to figure out why the hell, what was going on. Now everybody's kind of freaked out. I had to go back in 2 weeks later. So I backed off the regimen, the whole thing. Just chilled with it. As it turns out, folks, I had gone so extreme with it that I ended up dehydrating myself to the point where, I mean, yeah, my kidneys were straining, which is not a good thing. So, did I meet my goal? Yes, but there was a sacrifice that could have been potentially bad at the end of the day. And I've tried a couple times to get back into that discipline. And I've noticed something, like as I've gotten older, this is where it starts getting fun, guys. That metabolism starts to drop. You can't eat like you used to. And it plays on my psyche something fierce, because I've always been, once I hit my late teens, early 20s, 200 was like, the healthy weight, well, technically for my height. Do we really go by the doctor, guys? I was supposed to be at like 180. Well, the hell with that now, because tack on another 80. I'm at 260 pounds now, and I keep telling myself, okay, I've never been this out of shape. I've always had some sort of definition. Only been one other time that I let myself slack off as bad as this. And that was back during football. My freshman year of football, my first year, I'll tell you, it was a rude awakening. I found out I wasn't as shape as I thought I was. I wasn't as strong as I thought I was. And, I was going up against these guys. They were going to football camps. They had been playing, throughout middle school. This is my first year, and it's straight at, into high school. And, whew, damn it, man, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it beat the shit out of me. So I thought, sophomore year, I'm gonna get on the football team again, but I'm gonna pack on the weight. Because at the time, we always thought that fat would turn into muscle. The heavier you were, the stronger you were. I was completely ignorant back then, guys. It didn't work, and I had, before you knew it, I had a gut, and and then I could never get back to where I wanted to be. After I did all that, I could never get that flat stomach again. And I think that was one of the reasons why I pushed myself as much, because I was getting there. I was to the point where I'm like, man, this is, I'm looking like I'm wanting to, I'm feeling like I'm wanting to. But again, I went too hard, too fast, and put no real thought into it. Just ran with it. Almost like I was trying to cut weight for a fight. Ugh. So a few years down the road, I decide I'm gonna try and get back into that, regimen. I'm like, starting to slack off again. I'm starting to get that, quote unquote dad bod going. So I started to get back into the gym. I was working for the sheriff's department, and I thought, okay, I had a gym partner and everything, and it was a constant thing. It was like every other night or like 3 times a week. I can't remember now, age. But holy shit, I was starting to feel good again. I loved going to the gym. I loved sweating. And then I've done it on and off since moving back up here. And the fun part is, guys, I actually have due to where my wife works, I've got a free membership to a gym. So where's the focus at? What happened? I'm trying to figure out where, because I definitely have the will to do it. It's just, why haven't I pulled the trigger on it? I can't. I think a lot of people do that. They get something in their head, they get excited about something, they start to do it, and then all it takes is that one little stumble, that one time it's like, you know what, I'm going to take a break. Oh, my friend's in town, so I'm gonna go hang out. Oh, there's a great movie tonight. Oh, check out this show. It's debut something. There's always something. And you kind of gotta sit back and think, really is what you're skipping out on, let's stick with the gym. Is skipping out on going to the gym less important than watching the newest episode of Yellowstone? I'm spitballing right now, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. What about getting out there and, how about just going out and walking a lap, around the block? Um, Another thing me and my wife used to do, we used to get out there all the time and walk. Always. Now, for me, I'm not gonna lie, doing this does really take up quite a bit of time. Now, if I fully meet the goal that I have set for this, particular show, it'd probably be a lot easier to allot time to go to the gym. It really would. But, this is my excuse right now. I've got a daily, and by the time I get done with my daily, I get home with just enough time to get ready. And hell, guys, I started at 9 tonight. So, I mean, actually, I started after 9. I just kind of, I sit there and I keep thinking, what about, okay, so I'm going to make sure I allot time for my family. So, like my Tuesday nights, instead of running around or going and doing something, I sat down last night and watched a movie with the kiddos and the wife and, just kind of chilled. But then I also have my Fridays and Saturdays too. And, do I work? Yes. And then the evenings, it's kind of like, oh, we're just going to sit down and chill. Sometimes we get out and run and go shop. But at the end of the day, I mean, see, I have, and I'm saying all this to kind of make it a little bit real. So, that when I give advice or I say something, it's something I've struggled with or I am struggling with myself. Goals. I've set goals many a times. I've got a lot of friends that I've made, that are authors. And yes, I've met them on TikTok. Yes, they've been on here. I'm sure you guys remember Dan coming on here. I actually messaged him tonight to see if he wanted to join me, but never heard anything back. So I don't know if he's just busy or what's going on, but it'd have been cool to have, our friend from the north in a box right beside me just to kind of talk and go, you know what I mean? I just kind of, you know, anyways, back to what I was saying. Sorry about that. One of the other things I used to do, I always thought it'd be fun. I've always loved to read, always. And again, it's another thing that it goes in spurts. I get excited about something, I start reading on it, and then before you know it, I've set the book down and it gets harder to pick it back up. I've actually got Dan's book. I'm almost to the halfway point on it, and I haven't picked it up in a while. Well, then what do I turn around and do? Oh, let's go to Barnes and Noble. And I found The Wolf of Wall Street, the actual the novel that or the memoir or whatever you want to call it that Jordan Belfort wrote. Started on that. Hell, the first night I sat down, went through the first 50 pages. I just didn't want to set it down. And I'm like, hey, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. My eyes are getting heavy. Time to put this book down, went to bed. You know what, guys? That book is still sitting by my chair. A buddy of mine, right before I had my first shoulder surgery, he let me borrow the book Dirt, the biography written by Motley Crue. Started in on that. I'm like, all right, this is actually, it took a few tries because that job really wears you down. And first, I'm going to read, and then I'm out, sleeping, done. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, what do we do from here? Do I give the book back because maybe I'm just not getting into it like I thought I would? So I finally did sit down and start reading it. Once I started reading it, guys, I mean, again, I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was interesting. It really was. It was exactly as I expected it to be. Aside from the fact that each chapter is basically another variation, of like the first. I guess the best way to put it, the first chapter was Vince Neil saying, "This is how I got started," or he was talking about the house they lived in and recanting something that had happened, meeting a girl at a bar or whatever. And the next one was by Nikki. The next chapter is by Nikki Sixx, and he's talking about growing up. And then that's how the book goes. Each chapter is these guys telling a story. Some of them starting at the beginning, started after they'd already gotten together, but it was interesting. It really was. And then again, closed the book, set it down. I haven't picked it back up since. Which at some point I plan on returning out to him because it's been way too long now. And I no longer work at that place. At some point I do need to return that book. I don't want him to, I hate being that guy. I mean, it's just better late than never. Sometimes I say, sometimes. It's kind of like, even with this show, trying to build something, I ended up, I keep saying, need to do this, need to do that. Well, I'm right there. I want to do this. And then sometimes you kind of half-ass it a little bit. And, you try to convince yourself that's what's going on. Let us welcome to the stage my cousin from the South. We even got the camera and everything.
Yeah, and I'm in the light this time. Usually I'm sitting outside and it's dark.
How are you doing, Sweetums?
Sleepy, but I'm doing good.
A little tired? Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You still got the holiday hangover going on?
Somewhat.
You know what's funny? I will tell people, I refer to it as the holiday hangover. And the first thing, of course, they all know I'm a drinker. And I do this, so they immediately go, "Oh, I didn't drink." I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's
The
not.
holiday hangover. You did so much, you were just, from like basically Thanksgiving until Christmas Day, you're just busting your ass.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the hangover is you're tired afterwards. You just don't want to do shit. You just kind of, ugh.
Yep.
That's what I refer to as the holiday hangover.
Yeah. And with like Christmas one week and then the following week, you have the New Year's. We only had like 3 days of work each week. So it's like then now this week you're getting back in the grind of the regular, 5-day-a-week stuff and everything's kicking back up. So
how was your guys' trip back? Everything go good, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, no problems.
I'll tell you what, you and the aunt coming over here for Christmas was absolutely awesome.
Oh,
So,
yeah, we had a good time.
like I said, that was a really happy surprise walking in there. They did not tell me you were coming up.
Oh, really?
So, like I said, when I walked in, I come around the corner. I mean, you had to have seen the look on my face, like, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention. I thought, like I said, I thought Grandma had told everybody at Thanksgiving that we had decided to come in.
Yeah. Well, the fun part about Grandma, she'll like, did I tell you? No, I thought I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Love her all the same. How's things since? You getting back into the grind of it pretty good?
Yeah. I guess.
See, for me, it was business as usual, only because both Thursday, I'm off on Thursdays, and both Christmas and New Year's fell on Thursday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of an added bonus too, because me and my buddy Hooper were the only two that got 6 days, on our paychecks. So that was a nice little pleasantry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step off camera just for 1 second because I just realized I forgot to plug my computer and we're about to die down. But anyways, I can still talk to you. You don't have to.
No, yeah. Yeah, like I said, we only had, well, that whole week of Christmas I took off altogether. But then I came back the following week and we had 3 days and then had a 4-day weekend. So it's just, like I said, just trying to catch up on everything I did miss out on getting done and getting back in the swing of things, 5-day a week, work week again. But it's going smoothly so far, so can't complain.
Ugh. Honestly, if it was up to me, I got to DJ New Year's Eve. And I actually went through an agent on that one. So he actually negotiated a very nice little payout on that
Oh,
for 3
good.
hours work. The bad part about it was I wasn't paying attention at all to the weather. See, we didn't
Oh.
get a white Christmas until after you guys left, and then
Yeah.
it dumped on us. So New Year's
Yeah.
Eve, I had to go to the same place I was telling you guys about, that, the night we stayed over at grandma's, I DJ'd at this place over in New Bethlehem. Well,
Mhm.
that's where I went for New Year's Eve. On average, from my house to there, it's an hour. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there. That's how bad the roads already were. And then it took me over 3.5 hours to get home.
Mm.
So, yeah, New Year's Day for me and Sarah, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't get out of bed until like 1:30, almost 2 o'clock.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
well, I didn't even get to bed, and she, bless her heart, she was so nervous about me being on 80,
Yeah.
she would not get off the phone to the
Yeah.
point where she fell
I've
asleep
done that.
while on the phone with me. And I made it home, but it was like a quarter to 5. I got to bed probably about 20 after 5 a.m.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
I saw a post a couple days after we got home about a 22 car pileup on 80, like right past exit 70 or mile marker 70. And I'm like, "Ooh, we got out of there just in time."
Yeah, it dumped, and it dumped hard.
Yeah.
It just, you gotta love Northwest Pennsylvania. It's
Mm.
just one of those, if you ask Sarah, it doesn't matter what the weather is. It could be rain, snow, sleet, hail, it could be sunshine. She will always refer to the weather as lake effect. I love it. It's so much fun. Everything happens but due to the lake. It's all lake effect. Oh yeah, look at the blue sky. Yeah, it's lake effect. I got you. Mm.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that it came through. I don't know if you got to see the pictures from up in Erie. Um, they had another squall come through, and they had like
Mhm.
10 to 15-foot waves, so they were splashing up. I mean, everything was completely iced over. And I mean, it was a true winter wonderland up there, but
Yeah.
I guarantee Connor is counting his lucky stars. He did not accept the invitation to go to Gannon, which is
Yeah.
right there on Lake Erie. I told him flat
Yeah,
out he wouldn't have been able to handle the winters up there.
Yeah, one of my friends I work with, she's from Erie, and, she's always telling me, "Yeah, my mom called and said that, this is what's going on up there," and I'm just like, "Yeah, not something I wanna do." Like, don't get me wrong, I like snow, but only when I don't have to get out into it every day.
Oh, those poor, I tell you what, those poor souls that live up there off the lake.
Mhm.
Like my friend April, she lives just outside of Cleveland. She's literally like 20 minutes away from the lake. So when it snows over there, yeah, she gets nailed. And that poor girl, she hates the snow.
Yeah.
And yet you moved from Tennessee back to Ohio. Good
I
job.
was gonna say, but you know, you can always move if it's that bad.
Hmm. The thing of it is, though, and I've said this a million times on here, I love having my Four Seasons back.
Yeah.
On top of it, I mean, the winters up here aren't what they used to be.
Right.
Not even close. I mean, you growing up, like, when I was younger than Kaylin, I remember, like, I mean, you were guaranteed snow almost every day.
Hmm.
And there was no such thing as a snow day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now you'll get a few storms, and that's about the size of it. Now, the one year we were up here, we got a lot of ice,
Hmm.
very little snow. We got more ice than we did anything else, and then I knew it was going to happen. This year's been interesting and true to form. Last week it was freezing, snowing, nasty. This week we're in the 40s and 50s. The snow's gone,
Yeah.
and we're getting rain.
Yeah. Well, we knock on wood, we haven't had as bad I don't know a bipolar plex as we have the past few years. You know, like December, we have had so many tornadoes these past few years. It's like, what the heck? And so far we haven't, but we do got severe weather coming on Friday and a temperature drop. So it's like, I mean, it was like 65 today, but then we're supposed to be back down by the weekend. So I'm like, it's like you hold your breath every time they say that, you know, a storm's coming, because it's like, all right, how severe are we talking?
Well, the fun part is the further south you go, if they say snow, I mean, the place shuts down. Like
Yeah.
Tennessee, if they say it's going to snow, people batten down the hatches. I mean, they were in, they weren't going nowhere. I mean,
Mhm.
it was like Christmas vacation. It won't,
Yeah.
if I decided to go shopping, there was nobody else there. I didn't have to worry, Rockstar parking. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna park in a handicap spot just because I can.
Yeah. No, not where we live. I mean, there wouldn't be as many people, but we'd still have quite a few people. But we also have people from all over that live here. You know, we're a plethora of people from other places because of the military base.
Right.
So it's not just one type of people who've never done this before. But we have ones who are real idiots too. I'm from Montana. Look what I can do. It's like, yeah, you're stupid. I mean, you know, it's just like, yeah, this ain't shit. Yeah, okay.
So I let my friends, obviously when I was up in North Dakota working for Halliburton,
Mhm.
if I, especially during the holidays, instead of just letting my vehicle sit out, I knew my buddy had a garage. So I'm like, hey, can I leave my car here? And, you guys just drop me off and pick me up. Cool. Do you mind if I run with it? Yeah, I'm going to trust you. Just don't do anything, obviously. So I flew back after Christmas and they picked me up in Bismarck. And when it started snowing up there, it started in November and it didn't quit all the way through May. I mean, there was times I'd get stuck up there. They'd close down the highways, so there was no traveling home. Me and Daniel ended up staying up there our entire week off, which was miserable. That meant, I didn't get to go home for over a month.
Yeah.
But they picked me up from Bismarck, and I'm like, all right, let me, no, you got, and his wife at the time was like, no, this is nothing. I'm from Michigan. I know how to drive on the ice. You and him are going to drive too slow. So I'm going to drive. I'm like, you're telling me what you're going to do with my vehicle?
Mhm.
I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. And this girl was like 60, 70 mile an hour. And it's just like, I'm
Mhm.
freaking out the whole fucking time. She's like, look at him just getting all scared. I'm like, I'm telling you, you wreck my car. If I don't die, you will. But somehow there was one time she did get a little, it got a little fishy,
Mhm.
but I'll give her credit. She was able to slow down enough, recovered, and took a few, let's just say, some choice words that were said at a very high level She finally slowed down.
I can't stand when people just, like that's an unnecessary risk, and I don't take it.
So when you said that, it immediately reminded me of that story, and I'm like, ugh. See, I said the same thing though. I'm like, I used to tell Sarah all the time, I'm from Pennsylvania, I know how to drive in the ice and the snow. So anytime, even up here, if it's nasty out, I'm the one that does the driving.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that was a completely different monster. That really was. So I don't miss it. I really don't. But I do, like I said, I do like my four seasons. I'm not a big fan of summer anymore. I don't like the heat. I'm not a big fan. I'm that one that now wants to stay indoors, unless I'm at the beach. That's a whole nother monster.
Well, you get the water, so I'm the same way. If I know I can get in the water, I'm fine.
And then Sarah's like, "Well, we can go up to Erie. We can." I'm like, "Yeah, no." I mean, I like Erie. I like to look at Lake Erie, but I don't like to swim in Lake Erie. Does that make sense? And yet I'm the same person that'll jump headfirst into Moraine, which is just as nasty, I don't know. I'm weird like that. At least at Moraine, you don't get, a lot of, well, we're closing the beach today because, the bacteria in the water, you're going to get extremely sick. Or you go up to Presque Isle and, you're driving up one side. It's like, I don't want to, no, we're not getting in here. Look, there's all the factories over there. This is horrible.
Yeah.
You drive around to the other side where it's, a lot nicer. But then again, it's a lot more packed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everybody has the same thought.
I don't know. I'm weird like that. Give me the Outer Banks all day long. I love those beaches.
Yeah.
And then after you've had so many of these, you don't even realize that the sand's hot.
I still have not been out there. We should try to plan a trip out there and meet up out there.
I would gladly do that, Sweetness. Honestly, I love going to the Outer Banks. I know that place like the back of my hand now.
Mm-hmm.
If I go, I'm going to have to take Connor for certain, because if I go down to the Outer Banks without him, he would just, you'd see a 19-year-old cry.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we like going to Pea Island down there. It's more for fishing, but you can swim.
Mm-hmm.
The water's brackish, so you don't have to worry too much about the predators and everything out in the water. There's times you'll go over there and it looks like Florida. I mean, it's just crystal clear the whole way out, down the sandbar. Then there's other times you go out there and it's just murky and nasty, and you take 2 steps out and you're already neck deep.
Yeah.
But when it comes, you shouldn't be too bad with winter, though. I mean, if I remember correctly, you guys lived in Germany for quite a while, did you not?
Yeah, for a few years when I was little, like what, 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, I think.
You haven't gotten much taller, but I mean, yeah, I think it's
No, I
along those lines.
I was 4'11" in 5th grade, and I'm 5'2", so don't have it.
Oh my goodness, growth spurt.
I know.
And then you got to go back not long ago. What was it, last summer?
No, summer before. Wait, hold on. June of 2024. So yeah, I get to. Yes, that's before last. Summer before last. Yep, we went to. We flew into Frankfurt, spent the day in Frankfurt, and then we went to, Rothenburg, Munich. We stopped in Austria, went down to Italy, came back up to Switzerland, and then went back into Heidelberg and Freiburg before leaving again.
It just dawned on me. Did it ever occur to maybe go to your old stomping ground, so to say?
Oh, I would love to. I actually looked up our old house where we used to live on Google Maps. It's still there. It's changed a lot, but it's still there.
I think that would have been neat to have gone and seen. You haven't been there in what, 40 years now?
35, 35 years or something like that. Close.
Yeah, we won't dig too deep into the age thing, seeing as how somebody here is about to turn 46,
You
which
are
I get
4
reminded at
years.
work all the time.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. I was trying to talk about this the other night, and we had a buddy come on here, and all of a sudden, like most of the show turned into a sports night, which is fine. But did you make a New Year's resolution? And if you did, how often do you keep that resolution?
No, this year I didn't make one. Because I've tried before, and I think the longest time I ever got through was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months.
What usually stops you? Because I was telling people the story about when I go to I keep telling myself I'm going to go back to the gym. I'm going to get back into shape. 260 pounds. I've never been. This is for me. I don't like it. So I
Mhm.
keep saying I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to start. I'm going to get out there and walk again. And then there's always something that stops me from doing it. Whether it's like, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll do it. I'll start Friday. Tonight, I'm just gonna sit down and chill with the kiddos and watch TV and with Sarah. And I always come up with some excuse. What
I,
usually
I I
stops
think
you?
I think that that's part of it is just we always find some other reason why we can put it off another day. But then that becomes the habit. Whereas forcing yourself and being very aware and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess that is the best word I can think of is being aware of what you're doing. Like, okay, I said I'm going to do this and this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put it off. And it's like, getting yourself into the habit of actually doing it because once you get yourself in that habit, it's not even something you think about. It's just like, okay, this is just part of my natural thing. But it's doing it long enough, staying on yourself long enough to make that an unconscious habit where you just don't even have to think about it anymore.
So speaking of, we got little brother watching right now. Now all he has to do is say hello. Of course, he's
Your
probably at
little
work.
brother or
That's
my
on
little
his
brother?
phone. Hmm? My little brother.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
a family reunion.
Josh is notorious for when he's out and about.
Yeah.
Um, he's getting really good about listening to it on Spotify.
Yeah.
But when he gets a free chance because of what he does, he'll sit down, he'll get on his phone and watch. But then again, he might be just sitting there, and Brooke's like, "Nah, I don't want to." Love you guys. Hmm. No, the fun part for me though, like I keep saying, I'll put it off, I'll put it off, and then finally it's like, fine, I'll go. And then when I get in there though, all it takes is like one or two machines, and I'm like, okay, now we're
Yep.
going. Once I get that sweat going, then you want to do it.
Yep.
And then you go off on that kick. Okay, man, I'm doing this again tomorrow night. I know I'm free tomorrow night. I did arms today. I'm gonna do legs tomorrow, and then all it takes is that one time.
Yep.
Okay, I've done pretty good so far. I'm gonna chill. I don't want to burn myself out. I'll do it Friday. Friday comes around. It's like, man, we need to go shopping. So we're gonna, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm good. I'll do it
Yeah.
right after work.
It's the self-discipline.
Procrastination.
Hmm.
It was so much easier for me to work out when I didn't have to go somewhere.
Hmm.
So when we had the treadmill at the house, which, there you go, guys, call back. When we had our treadmill, it was right there. So all I had to do was throw my stuff on and get on the treadmill, and I was good to go. I could I could watch TV,
Hmm.
listen to my music, something. I don't know, maybe it's the convenience, maybe it's the, the outside factors too. There's always some way, some reason to procrastinate. Ugh.
Yeah. We're our own worst enemies when it comes to stuff like that. Because I do that stuff all the time too. And it's not even just working out. It could be something like, oh, I really should go through this box of crap that's been sitting here for 6 years, and just like, yeah, it's just, I've really tried to just start, even with just little things like, okay, this needs to go upstairs. Well, instead of waiting till I'm dog ass tired and then forgetting to pick it up, I'm just like, okay, let me just go ahead and take it. Just trying to get into that, just do it. Like it's on your mind, just do it because I know myself. I'll forget.
Something as small as like I've got size 34 and 36 pants that I know it's going to be a long time before I get in.
Those are
There's a
your
reason there's
motivation
still
pants.
tags on them, even after I had, when I could fit into them, the tags are still on them. Like, I go to the store, I'm like, okay, I'm going to change things up a little bit. So let's get the darker shade. And then you try them on a couple times. It's like, yeah, I don't like this. And then they go in the closet and they don't come back out. So I keep saying, you know what? I said it right before Christmas. I'm like, now's the best time to do this. I'll get these out. They still got the tags on them. I'll take the picture. I'll sell them real quick. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got all these clothes that I will not wear. I'm going to donate them to, across the street to the Salvation Army.
And you don't do it.
I'm going to try on these things one more time and see if it fits. Maybe I'll do it. There's always, and Sarah's one of the worst for that too.
Is she?
I'm not going to say one of the, worse. She's just as bad.
Yeah.
That's
a better word.
We got piles and piles and piles of clothes, all folded, but we got piles of clothes in our bed. She can't even get to her dresser. So everything she, wants to wear, she piles it on top of the dresser. Everything I want to wear, I got it piled on top of her cedar chest at the foot of the bed. And that's if I don't get into my dresser,
I totally understand because I got a pile right here myself. That instead, so like it's sitting on my desk right now. And instead of putting it away, in the morning when I get on my computer to do work, I'll just move it to my bed and then I'll put it back. I don't know why, but you know what? Tomorrow I will do that. I will, instead of moving it back, I'll just put it away because it's folded. I just need to open up the drawer and put it there. I don't know why I do it, but
I'm in a weird mood tonight. Instead of I've foregone my normal whiskey and bourbon. I don't know. I'm a spiced rum and Coke tonight.
oh, nice.
Partially because I want to
Coke's
get
always a
rid
good
of
one.
some of these other bottles, and I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not Monday night have gone shopping with a buddy of mine and spent over $300 on more stuff.
Restocking.
Oh yeah, and then some. Even buying stuff that I didn't even need. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm out of this. I come back and I start to put stuff away, and I'm like, oh looky here.
I had a thought the other day. We got a whole bunch of distilleries and stuff around here. I mean, I think I got 3 within 20 miles of me. I was like, next time I go up there to Pennsylvania, I should stop at some of these places and, tell them like, hey, what is your best seller or what's your staple liquor, and then bring it up for you to try.
I would 100% be game for that. And I finally did pull the trigger. Remember you tried that hibiscus gin?
Yeah.
Which there is 1 bottle left
Uh-huh.
at the liquor store. And I almost went ahead and just bought it because, like I said, there's not been one person that has tried it that has not liked it.
I
Or
mean, it was
disliked it.
okay. It wasn't.
No, you can't. Yeah, even you couldn't
I
do
think
it.
you would have to find a really good combination of something, and I think I could enjoy it.
It goes really good with anything cherry.
Mm-hmm.
So like cherry vodka, gin and vodka go real good together. Um, so I always like to mix it with a cherry vodka of something.
Mm.
And then as long as it stays in because it's flower, it's floral to begin with. Anything fruity really kind of helps it stand out. So
Yeah.
the one thing I did finally pull the trigger on, and I was able to talk the guys into doing this with me, we went to MLH, which is right across the street. And we got to meet the owner, got to go in the back and see all the inner workings, and it was really cool. It was a good time. The first time I ever tried MLH, I was not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in 2018. I tried their gin, their vodka. They were at, PNC Park when they did their wine and beer walk. And I could not get behind it. So I've been nervous about drinking it ever since. So I finally decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on it. We, there was me and two other friends. My one friend took his dad. It was his birthday. And I tell you what, it's come a long ways. And what's really cool is they'll do customized barrels for you. So that being said, I have tried their bourbon and I am very, very happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very much looking forward to it. Was supposed to be this week. He couldn't find the time to do it. So he said, let's go ahead and plan for February. He really likes the show idea, wants us to come over and stream from there every now and then.
Oh, that would be real cool.
He wouldn't, I said, well, we do a Monday night bartender. He goes, oh, I don't bartend. I have bartenders for that. I'm like, okay, so how about we have some of your bartenders come to my place, which is less than a mile, and they can sit down for a change. I'll sit out here and let you guys do your thing. But yeah, he's very interested, and I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, but it's not going to be too much
It's
longer.
in the works.
You're going to see an awesome bottle with our logo on it.
Cool.
So yes, next time you come around, I will have to introduce you. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good time. I mean, the bartender was really good. I stuck with the traditional stuff. Like we all got martinis.
Mm-hmm.
We all got them the same way. We all got them dirty, and everybody's like, all right, this ain't bad. And then we all got old fashioned. And what was neat about that was he actually put it in the smoker. Problem is he overdid mine because he put it in there, put the wood chips in, lit them on fire. As that thing's smoking, he goes and he makes like 4 or 5 other drinks, forgets all about mine. I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, this is going to be rough. Sure enough, when he pulled it out, I mean, first thing you could do was smell it. It was sage and oak is what he was using. But it took quite a few sips before I got past that, overpowering, smoky, but it was a good time. I mean, they made mint juleps. We found out they got a coffee liqueur, which is phenomenal. I actually liked it better than I do Kahlua. So I see good things in the near future.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what I was saying, if we could ever get past ourselves and after, get past the procrastination, get past making excuses why not to do it or putting it off to, and again, the procrastinating part, you'd be amazed at what could happen.
Yeah. I know one thing I need to do is get back on it's a diet, but it's more like a whole lifestyle change because diets are temporary. And, when you want to be healthier, you have to change your whole lifestyle. And I really need to get back on that, especially for this trip to Japan. So I'm like, man, sitting in an airplane for 14 hours. It's like, oh, it was rough for 8 when we went to Europe. And I was like, man, I was like being scrunched up. And they put like the 4 biggest people in the same row. So we're all like scrunched up. We had to have one of us switch out to get a
Oh,
smaller
you were
person in
cuddling.
there.
You got the cuddle. Ah.
Yeah, it was bad. Them seats were small. It's like, dang. But,
I'm always worried I'm gonna end up on a plane and it's gonna be like Soul Plane.
mhm.
You know, they're passing around one bucket of chicken. Everybody share one paper towel. Remember, sharing is caring. Mm.
Yeah, I remember one time I went to the Jay and I had flew down to Nolan Johnny's. I forget why.
A wedding?
No, no. We had went to visit them. It was after Paul got married. We went at the end of the summer and just to
Okay.
visit, and we took a flight down there, and I was at that time I was 308 pounds. I was very, very uncomfortable. And then the following year, that June, I had been on, been losing weight and everything up until then. And I flew to Miami and I was so excited because I was able to fit and I didn't have to get a seat extend or a seat belt extender. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God. That was like a win situation for me. I was like, wow. I'm so
So
excited.
so do you do like the I guess like the SoCal diet or whatever? Do you get a book? Do you try and follow other people's diets, or do you sit down, look it up, and know what you need to do and just go your own way?
Uh I look up recipes and stuff online, but it's pretty much just, like mostly like low calorie stuff. And a lot of it's just swapping things out, not like, for instance, when one time I made like chicken parmesan, but instead of breading my chicken cutlet, I just baked it. Where
Okay.
everybody else is, I went ahead and breaded it like usual, but I just baked it. And I mean, and then I cut my pasta in half. Like I didn't need as much pasta and ate more vegetables instead. So it's just swapping out things where you can still eat what you want, just not in the same amounts that I would have before. So I mean, it's little things like that that can make such a huge difference.
Well, see, here's where I think, this is after talking to a lot of people that I know have gotten on diets. See, a lot of people think all they got to do is just watch what they eat, and it's so much more than that. You know, a lot of
It,
people like to do that fasting diet.
yeah,
You
no, I
know,
don't know.
2 big meals a day, and in all honesty, in my opinion, that's one of the worst ones you can do
Yeah.
because you're basically starving yourself, and it's gonna get the nutrient your body's gonna take the nutrients in any way it can, and that includes the fats, the stuff you shouldn't be eating, the salts, your body's like, "Oh, holy shit, this is stuff that I want," you know?
hmm
But
Well, and you have to think too, like, because I was even talking to my nutritionist about this, and she had asked me how long I had been overweight, and I've told her, well, basically since I was a kid, and she's like, well, just to be honest, she was like, it is going to be harder for you because you have been overweight for so long. That she explained it like basically your DNA adapts to being
mhm.
that way all the time. And as you get older, it's going to get harder anyway. But she's like, but your body gets used to being that way. And so she was talking about things like fasting. And what actually happens for a lot of people is your body is like, okay, I don't know when I'm going to get any more of this. So I'm just going to store it all instead of it getting used to having a little bit here and, a few hours, a little bit here and more here. It doesn't go into like panic mode and hold everything in because it's like, well, I'm gonna get some more here in a little bit to replenish so I can use some. And when she explained it that way, I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Your body knows it's going to get refueled, so it's not afraid to use what it can. but that doesn't mean you go and just pour on the calories and pour on the fats and all that stuff. You
Right.
still eat healthy, but your body's not afraid to let go. I was like, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Well, here's the other thing people don't realize you can actually trick your body into it too. And
Yeah.
that's why, I'm a firm believer in snacking.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sell, most people, when you say snacking, what's the first thing they're going to think of?
Like
Ooh,
chips and all these unhealthy things.
cookies. And,
Yeah.
if you're like the one guy at work. Okay, so I work with one of the, this one salesman. He's actually a little older than me, same height, but I mean, if you were to watch him eat and see how skinny this man stays, even at
Yeah.
his age, it's incredible. Like there is never a time where he doesn't have a box of Little Debbie's, or he'll go to the local grocery store and pick up a cake or cookies, and it's like, Jesus, how? But people don't realize, like, I mean, sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep's actually a very important one, and that's where I start to run into an issue.
Yeah.
You can ask Sarah, I hate going to bed. I don't know why, unless I'm absolutely just cannot keep my eyes open anymore. It's almost kind of like, I don't want to stop. I'm not ready for it to end, because I know when I wake up now, I got to go to work. I got to do the adult thing, and it's just like, I'm enjoying right now. I'm comfortable. I'm reading this book. I'm watching this movie. I'll even binge YouTube. I mean, I'm getting bad for that. The only reason I didn't mind going on a little late tonight, because today's technically my Friday. So
Right.
I'm off tomorrow, and then, I get a chance to kind of regroup. But there and again, I'm like, I keep telling myself, okay, I'm off tomorrow. I have to do this. I have to do that. I gotta, I need to get up and do. I guarantee what's going to happen. I'll do this, then I'll get on TikTok for a little while. Then I'll go in. Even though I've already got my shower, I'm setting ready. All I really have to do is just go in, take my stuff off, and go to bed. I'll find some reason to stay up a little longer. And then I'll sleep in too long. Then I'm going to get up. And I'm like, okay, I'll do all this stuff after I have my coffee and my breakfast.
Yeah.
I need to eat breakfast. I know I want to eat breakfast, but I'm comfortable right now. I already got my coffee. I'm going to chill for a second. I'm going to let myself wake up. It's just I'm getting notorious for it anymore, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
I got to applaud my father-in-law and brother-in-law. They've got that discipline where like my brother-in-law Eric goes to bed 8 o'clock every day, gets up 5 o'clock every day. Doesn't matter if he even goes out to the well, he doesn't drink anymore, but back when he went to the bars, I mean, he'd crash out and was still up at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's just one of the, I mean, his discipline was incredible when it came to that. Dennis was the same way. He could, of course, he was notorious for napping too. He'd come in from, out and off the farm, gardening, whatever he's done. He'll eat, sit down in his chair, have a couple glasses of his wine, take a quick nap, get up, go to bed. What is it, like midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock? And then, hell, the man gets up at like 3 or 4 o'clock sometimes, just comes out, turns on the news, and sits there and chills. Then gets out and does it again.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that.
But it's like once you go to bed, do you like fall asleep almost instantly?
No.
No, you don't?
Sometimes I can. But then, I'd say 7 times out of 10, I'll lay down and still, my mind won't shut off. So
Yeah.
then I reach over and I grab my phone. I start looking up something, or,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to look up this, or I forgot to read this, or what about this? So and there's always how much,
Yeah.
oh, I'm thinking about buying this. You know what? I can look this up real quick. And then once you look up one thing, you start looking up another. And then it just, Or I'll sit there, I'll toss, I'll turn. Can't get comfortable one way or the other. Well, for me, like tonight, I can get away with it. But when I work, I cannot face away from my alarm. I'm weird like this. I have to be laying on my side, facing my alarm, no more than that far away. All it takes is for me to roll over in just a little bit, and I'll sleep right through the alarm. I'll never hear it. So there's that thought. It's like, man, I don't want to be late. I don't want to get in trouble because even being as close as I am now, there's been a few times where I've overslept the alarm, and next thing I know, I hear bang, bang, bang on my window, and it's like, oh shit. There's only one person that's gonna be banging on my window, and I'll kind of peek through the curtain. Whoops. So like I said, I'm one of those people, I can't turn my brain off. I've tried sitting down and reading with Sarah. Hell, she'll be like, honey, we need to go to bed. And then she'll go to bed, and I'll sit there. And every time I look at the bedroom, you'll see the light on. Oh, she's still up. Midnight rolls around. I'll look over. Well, that light's still on. Oh, the light went off. All right, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. Let's give this a try. Open the door, look over at the bed. She'll be laying there on her phone.
Yeah. Yep, I've learned to just put the phone down. But see, I listen to on Spotify, they have like sleep stories for adults.
Okay.
And they also have this one, it's some different things about history. Like I've been listening to one about Leonardo da Vinci. And I find that helps. Like I just turn it off because Spotify will also let you like turn your phone screen off and it'll still play. And I just flip it upside down and get comfortable. And usually within probably 10 minutes or so, I'm out.
Well, it gets really fun for me. I don't think I can do the sleep stories because I'm gonna want it. What's gonna happen next? Let's keep going. Excuse me. I tried to fall asleep to like National Geographic stuff, like the history of the Bible. You know, they'll talk about like the saints and Peter, Paul, and I just can't help myself. I want to sit there. It's like, because I love Egyptian history.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. I gotta see what this tomb looks like. Oh, I've got to see, But on the same token, though, let's say I turn on something, and this is gonna sound really sappy. I'm gonna lose man points on this one. I'm notorious for falling asleep to rom-coms. I don't know why.
Because you're a man.
Like, yeah, that's exactly the reason right there. Because we know that the top of our playlist is a rom-com. No, I like and it's seasonal for me. So we're in wintertime. I'll sit down and I'll turn on like Serendipity. But it has to be people I like. It's not just going to be any one of them. Like, I mean, I like John Cusack. I've yet to see a movie he's done where I haven't liked him in it.
Mm-hmm.
So Serendipity, Matthew McConaughey, I get a kick out of him. So, I'll turn on any one of his movies and it's easy to fall, then I start kind of getting relaxed and fall asleep. But then my inner geek will come out. It's like, you know what? I've been watching this one for too long. So I'll turn on Harry Potter or I'll turn on like Lord of the Rings or something like that, Nothing that's going to be too off the wall. It's just, I don't know. I've gotten to where I cannot fall asleep without some sort of background noise.
Yeah, I can't either.
I'm good looking. That is Miss J Coffee. She's our friend from Washington.
Yeah, I can't fall asleep within silence. It weirds me out. I have to have something. And it used to be I could do just like white noise, like a fan or something. Anymore, I can't. Like it has to be something talking.
Well, I know back in my early 20s, one of my favorite things to do is I would turn on ocean sounds and then
Yeah.
I would get like ocean scent um incense. And it'd be like 2 minutes and I was like a baby. I was out.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, what if I went back to that?
Get you some lavender and
I don't like lavender. I can't fall asleep
you
to
do.
lavender.
So
Uh,
nice.
Miss Coffee is she's bringing out her inner Martha Stewart.
Nothing wrong with
What type
that.
of
Martha
cookies you
Stewart
making?
makes
Now
it.
but no, I mean, like I like Dragon's Blood. I like anything water scent most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I try to trick myself into thinking, I'm at the beach. I'm at, I'm
Mm-hmm.
near a stream or something like that. I mean, do I like lakes and ponds and stuff like that? Yes. But I'm also the type of guy, I could be just as happy sitting by a stream, just chilling out as I would be at the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's
They
something about moving water that, that just kinda it's soothing, it really is.
yeah, it is. There's also like guided sleep meditations that has different sounds too. And those worked for me for a really long time, but it took me a while to get over the voices in my head that would be like, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is so stupid. But once I got past that and could actually go with the guided meditation,
Right.
that would get me to sleep very quickly. Because it would have you pay attention to things in your body, like how tense you were or whatever. And like you don't realize that you're tense until it makes you concentrate on that and how to relax it. And then you're like, man, I didn't realize I was tense all the way to my toes, but I was apparently. It was pretty interesting. And it worked for me.
She just said she's using the 1969 original Betty Crocker book. If I'm not mistaken, is that not the red and white checkered book?
I think so.
I bet you any money because I think everybody's got that or has
Yeah.
at least seen it. For me, I remember as a kid, you said guided meditation. So the tapes I would always listen to, like it would tell you, okay, now imagine you're a frog, okay? And you're on a pond and you look over and you're like, boy, would it be cool to be like that bird and have wings? Would it be cool to be like that, And before you know it, you keep jumping from like lily pad to lily pad, but you've added, something else from this different animal, and it's all in your mind now. You're imagining it.
Mhm.
And I remember this one in particular because at the very end, you had, basically you got too big for the lily pad. So as soon as you jumped, you sunk. Does that make sense? Like you're imagining, okay, you're a frog, you're on a pond, and now imagine you see a duck. Boy, it'd be really cool to have, wings. Now you see, a fish. Boy, it'd be really cool to have its tail, and you see
That's
you could
that's the weirdest. That's weird.
you'd have to listen to it to understand. I mean, it sounds weird, but bear in mind, I mean, this is stuff that was written for kids.
Yeah, it would have to be because that's weird for adults. Like, what? What? No, I would like to be a bird, but a frog? No, absolutely not.
Mm, I don't know. I keep, Sarah's done that too, though. Like, I mean, she's turned on iHeart and she tries to find like ocean sounds, or she'll try and find like,
Mhm.
the sounds of thunder and rain. And the thing,
Ooh,
I don't know if she's found the right one, but it'll give you about 2 minutes of rain and then you get a commercial and then it'll go to another another rainstorm, but it's got music with it. And then
Yeah.
you'll get about 2 minutes of that, and then you get another commercial, and it's like it ruins it for me. I might as well just go ahead and try and put in a CD if I can find one.
So on YouTube, they also have these ones, and it's like music from another room or TV from another room or something like that. Look it up. It's really interesting. But it's like I always remembered when I would go to grandma and grandpa's like in the summer, and it would be my bedtime. Of course, they would stay up, and I would go upstairs, but I could still hear the TV and stuff. Well, that's what this is like. It's like you're in bed, but you can still hear the sounds from another room.
Okay.
It's really, really neat. They have some pretty cool ones. There was one that's set like in the 80s, I think, and you can hear like the old the old cartoons going on with the old commercials, and some of them are really neat. You'd have to look them up. Matter of fact, I'll look some up and send them to you, and you can just
Oh, you
listen
got
to
my
because they're
attention
kind of
now.
cool.
That would be, man, just like the sounds of outside or something, you can hear
Uh-huh.
kids riding past with like a playing card in their spokes.
Yep.
Coffee, do
Sometimes at
you
work.
you jump in on this conversation, girl? Are you one of those ones that can just lay down, turn the lights off, and go right to sleep, or do you got to listen to music, watch TV, and if so, how do you put yourself to sleep? We'll let her go ahead and stew on that one for a second.
Okay.
Mm.
There's when I'm at work, sometimes I'll turn on YouTube and I'll put on like coffee shop ambiance, and it's really cool because like you'll hear the clinking and the clanking of cups, and you'll hear the doorbell ring and the cash register go, and some of those are pretty cool too. And one of our interns, she said there's something about brewing coffee that is very soothing to her. And we found on YouTube there's a video of nothing but a coffee pot brewing coffee. It's pretty cool. I couldn't listen to that for an hour, but she could.
That's not bad right there. She says she listens to Lindsey Sterling and just try not to think. Now, the first part I can get behind. The second part's the hardest part of that whole scenario right there is just try not to think.
You really have to be in the moment and stay committed to just that moment to do some of these things. Like the meditation, you have to pull your mind back to what you're listening to. And that's hard because your mind is going to want to wander. But you have to be very committed to pulling yourself back.
I don't know. This is all making me want to try this tonight. Maybe sit down, pull up YouTube on, because everybody's got a smart TV now. Everybody's got
Yeah.
one. So just pull up YouTube and just, instrumentals. Like for me, I could see 80s instrumentals,
Yeah.
that easy listening, kind of sitting back and chilling to that. But then I guarantee what's going to happen if I do that. And here's this, and already my mind's already starting to twist on me. I'm going, man, that's going to make me think of my childhood. I'm going to want to sing along with this song. Now I want to hear it I'm going to want to hear it like in full tune. And I think, like I said, I
Well,
think
you
I'm
know
just
what? Even if you don't use it for sleep, you can use it, when you're just chilling at the house and you just turn the TV off, want to read your book, and just turn that on too. Like, nothing wrong with that.
See, what's weird is, I mean, you see the lights, and I have, of course, you've been out here. You don't realize just how easy it is to fall asleep in here, like the lights and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually extremely soothing. And then even when the heat kicks on, of course, I got blankets out here and everything. I got my 2 couches, and everybody knows that couch, that brown couch right there is narcotic.
Yeah.
Full dark room, Lindsey Sterling, if I'm in a different place, someone else's house. I like Lindsay Sterling. I really do. Like, you know who that is, don't you? Because
No.
Lindsay Sterling's she's a violinist, but
Oh, okay.
she's high energy most of the time. Um, she puts on these amazing shows. She really does. I mean, if you get an opportunity, look her up on YouTube. The stuff she does is really good. But one of the things, here's one I used to fall asleep to, and that was the original for. I'm not a big fan of because they've changed so many times over. Look up Celtic, Celtic Women.
Uh-huh.
There's 4 of them, and believe it or not, me and Sarah actually they'd already changed one of them. It was either 1 or 2. No, they'd only changed 1, but me and Sarah went and seen them in Knoxville. I thought it was amazing. She referred to it as an opera. I'm like, that is so far from an opera. An opera tells you a story, okay? They were just giving you like their version of, old Irish tunes.
Yeah.
Just a little more upbeat, and they were amazing. They really were, and it was like everybody that went there was like we were all dressed real nice. It was in downtown Knoxville. I remember the intermission. I'm like, you know what? I saw they have a bar out there. Time to go get a drink. I go out and I pull my card out. I'm like, all right. I looked at the prices. I'm like, holy fuck, it's gonna be $20 for I think it was like a rum and coke, and they added something to it.
Oh.
And I thought, okay,
Wow.
well, here's my card, and they're all like, nope, cash only. And I'm like, are you serious? Jeez. But I mean, it was a good time. And then to make it more fun, after it was all said and done, of course, me and Sarah had to go and hit the merch table.
Yeah.
And her and I got into this little battle back and forth because we both had credit cards at the time. And she's like, well, I'm going to get this, this, and this. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this and this. She goes, oh, well, I think if you're not going to get this, then I'm going to get this. I'm like, well, if you're getting that and I'm going to get, before you knew it, we spent like $30, $40, $50 each,
It's not hard to do at those places, believe me.
I honestly use the music just to quiet my mind, like something with no words, just music. Yes. And that is the main goal. That's exactly what her and I are talking about, trying to find that. I guess you could say, you need to make, what's a good way to put it? The white noise needs to be in your mind.
Yeah.
Not just what you're listening to, but you need to find that zen. And another one of the things that Sarah loves to say is REM, that REM sleep.
Yeah.
And do you ever get one of those smartwatches that actually gauges your sleep and everything? I became addicted to that thing.
Yes.
And I was constantly watching, and it would show when I got up, when, but what was cool was it would show me that I was waking up more than I thought I was.
Yeah.
So like I'd be awake but not even realize it. Even if it was just look around real quick, close your eyes and go right back to sleep, How many times have we done that? I'd hate to wear one now because it's getting to the point where like I'll get up at least twice to go to the bathroom, whether I'm drinking or not. I've got the old man bladder kicking in. What makes it worse is, we don't have a bathroom in the bedroom or on the main floor. So I'm either running up the stairs or running down the stairs. That's always fun.
Yeah, I bet.
You haven't lived until you wake up and you're like, shit, I got 10 minutes to get to work. Even though it only takes me like 3 minutes to walk there. And that's 3 minutes from my door to the office, clocking in.
Sweet.
So I'll get up. I already have all my stuff sitting there, my boxers, my socks, my uniform sitting right there. And I'll throw my boxers on. I'll throw my socks on. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to hold this anymore. And you get up and run downstairs. Well, when you try to run down hardwood floors in your socks,
It's not a
By
good thing.
the second step, you're in such a hurry to get down there, and both feet just go flying out from underneath you. And well, I got at least to the first landing. I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore.
I bet you just did it all over the floor.
Ah, you know me well, cuz you know me well. I would be that one that would like push it to the very limit. Okay, I gotta hurry up. I'll go to the bathroom as I'm running out the door. Nope, not gonna happen. Again, horrible. But no, like I don't know. And I keep saying, everything we've talked about. I keep telling myself, I'm gonna do this. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go in. I'm gonna lay down. I'm gonna. I even told Sarah I'm thinking about going back out and trying the incense again and seeing if I can get into that Zen mode and just kind of imagine myself, put my mind like I'm on the beach or I'm in the rainforest, something. Because I tell you what, like my sleep is absolutely horrible, and that's why I said if I had one of those smart watches now, it would drive me nuts to see how many times I got up or whatever. And Sarah's gotten to be such a light sleeper anymore.
Oh yeah.
If she'll go to bed before me. If I do anything to wake her up, God forbid it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. There's been times I've done this. I'll wake her up and then she can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then she's mad at me the next day. She's like, tired, okay? I've been up since 2. Why were you up at 2? You woke me up. Okay.
Yeah. It's all your fault.
My bad. Excuse me for having to go to the bathroom, or like
I'm
I'll have
old.
the TV on. I'll set the time. I'll set the sleep timer for 2 hours, and something will happen. I don't know. It'll wake her up, and the next thing you know, she's up and she's like, "Well, I guess I'm watching the rest of this movie. All right, I'll go to sleep." Nope. And what's horrible for her is she works a front desk.
Yeah.
So
So hard. So
she
she gets sleepy, everybody's gonna know it.
she's not like it's not like me who I got this car, that car. If I'm not doing something over in Tire Bay, I can go over to the mechanic side and do something over there, and I can stay up and moving. She can't.
Yeah,
She has
sitting
to stay
down
up.
sitting down does not help when you're sleeping.
So I do feel for her, and I feel bad when I do that. It's just sorry, babe. It's the nature of the beast. I too am trying to fight, and then it becomes here's where it really gets fun because then it becomes a battle. She wants me to go to bed with her, but honey, I got to turn on the TV. I can't just lay down like you and go out. I'm gonna, I gotta watch. If I'm on my phone, sometimes the light's just enough. She'll roll over or something, and the light will get in her face, or I'll forget to turn down the volume, and next thing
It
you know,
scared the shit out of her.
yeah, something, like a song will come on, or God forbid I get one of those, prank messages, which are still a thing today. Wait till you hear the sound of this rock when it hits the water, and when it hits, all of a sudden you hear thank you. Then you get the proverbial, what are you watching?
Right.
It's not what you think. Oh man.
I was trying to find the diner with the 80s music in the background, but I can't find it. But I did send you some on Facebook Messenger that I listened to. So you can
definitely be checking that out then. But we're going to take a real quick break because actually she's getting ready to go to bed. I'm going to go say goodnight. And then when I come back out, I'm going to play a music video real quick. And when I come back out, we'll go ahead and we'll do a quick wrap on this. And for all you guys on TikTok, shit, I'm off. So guess where I'm going next?
Well, I'm going to get off here and get ready for bed myself.
All right, sweetness. I appreciate you popping in here. And I'm glad I got to see you for a little while.
Yeah.
You
All
need to
right.
talk. You need to talk to Mama into coming on sometime,
Okay.
or Jay.
She's in bed like 8 o'clock every
Oh,
night.
she's one,
She's one
and
of those.
she's up at 6.
Usually about 5.
Oh,
I
God.
told her she has that old lady schedule now.
That's gonna be my future. I can see it now. No, get my
Yep.
get the other ones on here. Get Jay. Maybe get to pick on him for a little while,
Yeah,
or
I'll
maybe
do my
just
best.
maybe the
He
other cuz. I'd
Spencer.
love to give him a hard time on here.
I'll have to tell him to jump on next time.
So yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. And Sweetness, thank you for popping in.
No problem. All right.
I will
Talk to you later.
talk to you later, sweetie.
Bye.
So, folks, we are going to wrap this one up for the night, but I'm going to leave you, or before we do that, we're going to do a real quick short intermission. When we come back, I'll give a final shot. And then again, for all you on TikTok, feel free to pop over there. We're going to have some more fun. But this is our friends from Long Island, New York. This is Resist the Temptation with The Loudest Silence, guys. I will be right back.
Through the years they hushed us, mutiny against the muted tongue, living bodies we don't own, a player power
Guys, anybody else? That song, the video, everything about them. I cannot wait. I was actually just talking to their lead guitarist the other day. We are going to have them on here at some point. I cannot wait. And God willing, at some point, once we actually get a full studio set up, I cannot wait to be able to actually have a band in house. Oh, good times. But we have definitely hit that time of the night, folks. So let me go ahead and crank this down just a little bit. We're going to turn off that one. I'm going to put this right about here. I want to thank everybody for popping in tonight. We actually had a decent. I apologize for, the lateness, but, I'm sorry when you got your 12-year-old wanting to cuddle up on the couch and watch a movie together. It's not like the last few weeks where she's been off for Christmas break and I've got to hang out with both my kids for, it's been actually really nice. So I took the opportunity for a while. So this is the part of the night where we do what we call our final shot. I guess you could say the last shot. And if you guys remember my good friend 6ix9ine, he used to co-host with me. One of his favorite things to do was play some background music, and it's referred to as feeding the ducks. Guys, 6ix9ine, this goes out to you, brother. We had a hell of a good conversation tonight, guys. This is what I'm all about. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't have all the answers. All I can do is give my honest opinion. If it works, awesome. If not, maybe I'll learn something. Hey, somebody will get back to me and say, hey, I took your advice and this is what happened. And okay, well, let's move on from there. And, now we both learned something. But the thing of it is, you guys, you have to try. You have to at least, because, and anybody that has been paying attention, I am notorious for this just as much as you guys are. We procrastinate. We want to do it. We want to try. We want to get there. We want, every one of us wants to succeed. I don't think anybody wakes up and goes, man, I hope I fail at whatever I try today. Sometimes you let that fear get the better of you. But what if it doesn't? What, I'm going to call this, this person told me to call, but what if I make a fool of myself? We always find an excuse not to do it. We always find some reason not to do it. It's just like, I used an example earlier, when you do go to the gym, when you finally make that decision, I'm going to go. Then you get in there. You start to sweat a little bit. You hit that first machine. It's like, man, it felt good. Boy, if I keep doing this, I'm telling you, I've had luck in the past. If I know it can happen. So you go again, and then you go again, and then it takes that one little thing, and we stumble, we fall, we backtrack, and we decide. It goes right. It's a vicious cycle. It really is. Again, that definition of insanity. And there we are. That fortitude. Know you can do it. You really have to will yourself. And in the end, I promise you this, it always works. In the very end, you'll find that it always does work out. It all comes out in a wash. You find success. You know what? I'm going to quote Jordan. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You know, sometimes, there's even those of us out there that ego, you know, it can't happen. It's not going to happen. I don't do it because that person is gonna say, told you so. You know, don't let the ego get in the way of your success. Sometimes, I love having people come over and help me. I've got a lot of friends that say I like doing stuff by myself. I'd rather do it by myself. I'm the exact opposite. I mean, sometimes it does work against you. You'll have a whole group of people here, you're laughing and joking, and very little work's getting done. Because let's call it what it is. You're not getting paid to, in my case, work on the garage. It's the camaraderie, it's the fun. It's just, the fact that everything's always, I personally feel that everything is always better when you're, working as a team, you're working with friends, the drinks flowing, you order, every time these guys would come over, I would order pizza or I'd get some sort of food. We'd have a cookout, something. Me personally, I'm going to make it worth your while. And then when you look at it at all the, on all those terms, now maybe it doesn't seem like it's so bad. You go to the gym, you might, go with a friend. That way you're pushing each other. Instead of, earbuds on the treadmill, you guys are talking back and forth, conversing. You're both on the machines, you're both, you're at the free weights, you got your spotter, you're pushing each other, you're there, that support. Excuses get you nowhere. I know this firsthand. So as I keep saying, I keep saying big things are going to happen. Well, it's up to us to make it happen. And I tell you what, like I said, I mean, I'm excited about the future. I really am. I can see things going and taking off. So on that note, guys, like I said, to fully summarize the whole thing, make sure, let's do the private stock. I'm interested in seeing, I left it out for a little over 24 hours without a cap on. Didn't mean to, but hey. I forget, you forget, we all forget. It happens. Again, to quote Michael Jordan, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Guys, don't let fear, don't let ego, don't let anything get in the way of your goals. Because at the end of the day, I promise you, you're just you'll be harder on yourself for not doing it. And that, my friends, is my last shot. Oh. Woo, letting rum breathe. Okay. Oh. Guys, this was a fun night. It really was. I love talking to all you guys. We leave Wednesday nights open for open conversation for a reason. I like the challenge. I like the conversation. I like the camaraderie. I like to learn. I might give my opinion. You'll say, hey, well, I can tell you otherwise. Okay. So let's talk back and forth. At the end of the day, we're going to agree to disagree, or we're going to agree. That was a little redundant, but at the same time. So on that note, guys, check us out tomorrow night for our Thirsty Thursday thoughts and shots. I don't know if it's going to be the sports. Things are getting really weird in the football world right now. So we'll just keep you posted on that one. But we got our Thursday night thoughts and shots. We got our Sunday night weekend hangover, our Monday night bartender, and of course, we round it all out with our Wednesday night open bar. Guys, I will say this much though. Going back to the original subject, I'm looking to add another day. And why not go with something I'm very strong at, and that's movies, specifically horror movies. I mean, it doesn't just have to be horror movies, but there's just something about it. I think a lot of us like to be scared. I've already got the word out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're on TikTok, guys, I'm heading there next. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you, Miss Sandy, for popping in. Miss Coffee. Everybody that's been checking it out tonight. It's been awesome. Good times. Always fun. Always unpredictable. But always remember, everything we say on this show is just our opinion. But then again, it could just be the alcohol talking. You guys have a good night. Thanks for popping in. We will talk to you here again real soon.
Thank you for stopping in and listening to the Another Shot podcast. We shared some drinks, stories, and laughs. But it's time to say goodnight. Join us next time on Another Shot podcast.
If you're looking for a party, then man, have you found it? Now the shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Now the shot is gonna hit you with the mind overloading. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion.